Hey guys, what's going on? Kunal here, Bulls on Wall Street. Guys, we had a decent sized bounce in the markets, in the last, last day. Nothing special here, but what we're starting to see is some support hold and some rounding action. I know this has been probably a scary time for so many of you guys that have had like IRAs and 401ks and long-term accounts, and it's like, you can't go to work and your kids are out of school and probably driving you crazy. And to make it worse, right, the stock market's just taking a dump on you. But we're starting to see some rounding action. Does that mean like the stock market's out of the woods? No. If you look here, what we always want to do when we like kind of look at markets is figure out where the key levels are and what could be happening. And we pulled back into some supports, and you can see here we're starting to kind of hold these lows for the last day. So at least we're starting to make some support. When the market is in a free fall, you have like no ranges, no supports, and nothing holds. So it's hard to base trades off of it. Now we're starting to get into some support zones, and we're starting to hold there for a little bit. And so we may be able to get some short-term trades. You're already seeing a gap up in the markets today. So I got everybody's been asking me like, okay, like if the market starts to go, like what do you want to, what should we be watching and things like that. So I want to give you a couple trading ideas that I'm personally looking at for my longer term accounts and things like that. First one is, Tesla. Tesla, has had like a monster retracement. It was at $1,000. Now it's pulled back to its 200 SMA. You can see it hasn't tested the 200 SMA since, if you look here, it hasn't tested it in the whole run up. So when the run up started, right, this was a gap based on some news. It's never come back and tested it. It hadn't even really come back and tested the 50 till this coronavirus hit. Now we've had a nice oversold bounce into the 200 SMA. You can see it even tap that lower Bollinger Band. So I think this could be like a nice potential reward to risk play. This was something we were looking at yesterday. We were talking about in the YouTube lives, right? If it gets over 380, that should trigger it. I think you got room on something like this till like 500 before you have to really start to figure out if it's going to roll back over. We are not out of the woods in the market. We could be, we don't know necessarily, right? We don't know. This is an unknown. Like in 2008, we knew what we were dealing with. We were trading and we're like, okay, we got short banks, we got real estate, we tried this. And this is a little bit more unknown because like, frankly, like we're not dealing with, an economic thing, it's a medical thing, and there's news popping out all over the place, and who knows what's real, what's not. So we just trade the action. But I think this is going to give us a nice location on this. If you look at another name that I think, if the market bounces, this is ENPH, man. This thing went from 17 to 60. It actually had this big gap up here and blowout earnings, but it's a growth stock. Growth stocks tend to get killed when the market gets nasty. So you've seen this thing just come crashing down. You can see here, it's like come back into the support zone here. I'm watching this 200 SMA on this. If it kind of remounts over this, this could be a potential play. Now, the caveat with all of this is what? That the market's got to hold and bounce. Another one that I'm looking at is MGM. MGM is coming back into some levels that, well, frankly, it hasn't been at in a long time. Now, this one will be like a little bit more scary because, frankly, the casinos are closed. So, you've got to be like really mindful. But you can see here, if you go back in a monthly chart back all these years, this zone of support from down here to like 10 could be pretty strong. So like if this thing comes down and starts to marinate around in that level, I think I'll take a shot at it because, frankly, it's one of those that it's like, okay, it's MGM, you've got some support there. And, once you're like sitting around at like $5-6, it might be one of those things you tuck in, 1,000 shares in your IRA, put a stop loss on it under the recent low. And if it hits, maybe you get a big potential reward. And if it doesn't, then, you're out whatever it is from that support. Even when you're doing like longer term plays, it's always important to manage your risk. I typically will use those last lows as a way to gather my risk and that's how I tend to pile into some of my longer term, accounts. I love day trading. You guys see me day trade every single day, but I also like doing other trades, And by the way, like all these kind of trades, MGM, Tesla, these are all day tradable too, right? And frankly, the easiest thing in this market is to either sit on your hands or day trade. Longer term trades or swing trading is very, very tricky. So, all of these type of names, what I usually do is, I start getting into them for day trades. And then if I have a cushion, I tend to hold them, overnight. So like when you see, things starting to break some key levels, if you have a big cushion, then you can start holding them overnight. So hopefully that helps, guys. It's been tough. It's a day trading environment. If you can make swing trading gains as a day trader right now because there's so much range. So there's no point in taking overnight risk. But these are a few names to start watching if the market starts to marinate because they're going to have some upside. So hopefully that helps. Guys, I'm going to have a webinar on Sunday on how we're day trading this market right now. Like we've literally been getting like big chunky moves, 5, 10, 15% moves, but intraday. I'm going to go over a few of my favorite trading strategies as, man, this has been probably one of the best months in our chat room that we've had. And I've had this chat room since 2008. So guys, hopefully that helps. Let me know if you have any questions. Take care.